3-in-1 Fitness. This is Coach Jenny Vo, and we're going to be doing a level 1 mobility for our shoulders and for our hips. First thing is to find a wall. We're going to take a step to the side of the wall. Okay? From here, we're going to stand up nice and tall. We're bringing our imaginary tailbone in, making sure that our hips and ribs are in one line. Then, whichever arm is closest to the wall, we're going to start bringing our thumb up to the sky. From here, shoulders should be dropped away from the ear, and then we're going to follow through and turn our pinky down. You see how my hand touches the wall? That is because I need to work on my shoulder mobility. So if this happens, do not force yourself to go through, because you will collapse your shoulder on the other side. You'll collapse your torso. If that's the case, just take a step a little bit further, and what you can do is measure the distance from where you are at and then see how you can progress from there. Okay? The full range is going up here and then diving down, pinky going down. That's half a rep. To complete the full rep, we go all the way up. And then we're going to do that on the other side as well. Second shoulder mobility drill that we can do is called a standing no money. We're going to stand with our back flat against the wall, making sure that we don't have an arch. Bringing that imaginary tailbone in. From here, elbows are glued to your side. We're going to take a breath in while we're squeezing our cheeks and digging our toes into the floor to create tension. And then we're going to breathe out. Bring your palms out to the side. Try to keep your elbows glued to you. And then bring it back to center. And then our last shoulder drill is called Egyptian. So we're going to stand feet about hip width apart, both palms facing up. Then we're going to have one thumb facing up, one thumb facing down. Whichever thumb is up, drop those shoulders away from your ear first, and then rotate. Turn your neck, go to the other side, palm faces up. All right, now we're going to move on to hips. The hip drill that we're going to be doing is called a standing hip car. For this, we are going to use the support of a wall. You're going to grab onto the wall. You're going to place yourself, that way your arms are nice and straight. You can grip the wall to create tension. Then from here, slight bend in one knee and dig your toe into the floor as you pick one leg up. You're going to draw an imaginary circle with your knee. This should be nice and slow. So we're donkey kicking. As you can see, I'm drawing a circle with my knee, and I'm completing the circle. And then I'm going to reverse donkey kick and complete it inward. And then do it on the other leg. For our last drill of this series, we're going to be doing a hip flexor stretch on a chair or whatever sturdy stool that you may have. You may want to use the wall for extra support. For this one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick one leg up, okay? If you're able to lift your arm up, then we can go ahead and do so. We're going to tuck that tailbone in, okay? No arching back. Tuck that tailbone in, and then we're going to reach for the sky. Breathe in. And then we can add and be a little fancy. Turn out to the side, breathe out. For this stretch, you should be feeling it right here. Okay, so breathe in. Breathe out. To get the most bang for your buck for this drill, we want to focus on driving that foot into the stool or into the bench or chair, whatever you decide to do. If you cannot raise your hand over your head, that's okay. You can place your hand on your hip and do the same thing. Some people prefer that because then they can feel that their pelvis is in a neutral position. Level 2 mobility education for our shoulders and for our hips. We are going to need a yoga mat and a wall for these drills. First drill is called a kneeling shoulder car. We're going to stand kneeling, facing away from the wall. Whichever arm is closest to the wall, we're going to bring that arm up into our shoulder car, So we're raising it up, and then we're drawing our pinky in. See that my hand touches the wall? This means I'm too close to the wall because my shoulder mobility through that range is not the greatest. So what I'm going to do is step away from the wall. That way I can make sure that I can go through the full shoulder car and come back without touching the wall. You can use a ruler to measure yourself to see if you've improved. Okay, going 1, pinky down, and then going up, pinky back in is going to be 1 rep. From here, next drill is a seated no money. When we're taking a seat, we want to sit crisscross applesauce, back completely against the wall, making sure that our hips and our ribs together, elbows are going to be glued into us, sitting up nice and tall. Then from here, breath in, and then we're going to breathe out. Try to bring your palms away from your body as your elbows stay tucked in as much as you can. Next up, for our last shoulder drill for this series, is a kneeling Egyptian. We're kneeling, we can have our toes tucked in for this drill. From here, palms are gonna be facing up, thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, eyes to the thumb that's up, and then you're gonna rotate and turn. It's important to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Now we're gonna move on to our hip mobility drills. The first hip mobility drill we're gonna do is a quadruped hip car. We're gonna get onto our fours, wrists are stacked right underneath your shoulders, knees are right under your hips, toes are dug in. You're gonna grip the floor. From here, you're gonna lift 1 knee up, and then you're gonna draw an imaginary circle with your knee as you are pushing and digging the floor away with your hands, knees, and toes. As you can see, I open up the circle. I'm really focusing on driving the toe that's on the floor into the ground, and then I donkey kick back. Completing the full circle in and then back out is 1 rep. After we've completed this hip mobility drill, we're then gonna go into 1 more, a hip flexor mobility drill. We're gonna stand in a tall kneel. Then from here, we're gonna pick 1 knee up, okay? You have 2 options here. You can either place your hands on your hips, we're gonna tuck that tailbone in, drive that foot into the floor, and then pulse forward. A common mistake, people are gonna do this. As you can see, if I were to do this, my back is arching. I wanna avoid that, okay? It's important to tuck that imaginary tailbone in or imaginary belt buckle, that way your hips and ribs are together. Drive that foot into the floor, toes in, breath in, and then breathe out. Another option you can do here is whichever leg is down, reach for the sky and push the floor away with the opposite. Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you next time.